Welcome to the first official episode of the Mudbowl Podcast
with Daley and Eddie.
Hey,
we got a lot to talk about today. We're gonna go over the news and notes in the NFL today. We're gonna talk about league evolution for the Mudbowl Fantasy Football League, as well have a few good guests on the show. The commissioner of the league, league champion from last year, and hope to get a lot of good stuff out of them.
Now, Ed, we've done a couple of episodes of this, but they've been unaired. They're unaired footage. I didn't save them. I said I was going to put them out a while from now. They're gone. It's lost footage.
Kidding me?
The unseen notes, and it's sad, but we're gonna start today. We're gonna start what's gonna be magical. I think you guys are gonna love this. So, without further ado, Ed, I gotta ask you. All right, you're a podcast host now. You've got your PhD, your bachelor's, your master's, your PhD, your MBA, your STDs. You got them all.
Feed me, baby.
Podcast host.
I don't know, Joe. I mean, it's a new avenue. It's a good adventure. I like it.
Good investment too. I think this could be fruitful.
And a lot of people hating out there. A lot of haters out there. A lot of doubters. A lot of naysayers, and we're gonna prove them wrong.
And we're speaking to those naysayers today. So, this is a Mudbowl podcast. So this is for the league, but this is much bigger than just a league too. This is for everybody.
Lifestyle.
Yeah, you gotta trust the process.
Dodge bear.
A lot going on. I think we'll talk about that a little bit.
We had to bring up we had that huge game on was it Saturday?
Yeah. Which, by the way, the Caranos, Dominic and Kristen and little baby Carano on the way. Got to give our sincere thank you to them. What a fun time we had. Kind of kick the summer off. Celebrate the baby. I know you have a baby on the way, Papa Eddie.
Coming soon.
Oh boy.
Kids, welcome to the show.
Oh man, we are. Yeah. Sliding in. Next guest.
Sliding into the DMs.
But hey, that's the way it goes. And we had our first Dodge game of the season.
Matt Goklowski sucked.
See, I beg to differ.
Well, here's
first
the problem.
Finish
Here's
of
the
second
problem
game.
Because he killed his draft stock.
He
tanked because he knew couldn't. How do you fit? What do you have? 2 sips in the first beer.
Yeah, I did well the first game for me. I finished.
Mike Kapanos looked good.
He looked good. I'll tell you, your Achilles looked strong. So it's going to be a nice little epic battle.
It's going to be good this year.
Just so we know, guys, we are going to be talking about rankings, weekly Dodge rankings. As Sundays pass and we're all together.
Don't forget to mention our host or our sponsor, corporate sponsor, that is, for those rankings, Natural Light.
Oh yes, Natural Light.
Always
wearing the
smooth.
T-shirt today. It was a little disappointing.
Smooth, always light.
Yeah,
Natural Light.
Natties. Also, we want to give a special nod to Hummel's Hot Dogs, unofficial sponsor. We're still in the works with that. Also, Brohegan's Son. You guys know who you are. And Amp training facility.
Phil Dang.
Yeah, Phil
Doing
Dang.
big things
really
down there in Brantford.
Absolutely killing it in the physical
killing the training
scene. Yeah.
Who the fuck cares?
I don't know. I gotta go to the gym. That's
also I know.
Phil, if you'll have me.
Brohegan's Son actually is open right now.
They are.
They probably.
I don't think we'll be getting any callers from Brohegan's Son, but
no, probably not. But
hopefully
maybe the chips are flowing. Hopefully, their dealer there, Rick, does a tremendous job.
He does. I mean, just rapid fire.
I like the bow tie.
Yeah, I like his outfit. I know he's complaining about it, but it is what it is, and you kind of
In to be honest, he had one of the all-time great moments in Mudbowl when he did that MR Brajol inside joke, obviously. So some of the callers aren't going to know, or viewers aren't going to know what we're talking about, but
listeners, but
that was tremendous.
Yeah. Not his best showing the other day. I know a lot of people are down on him, but I believe in Rick.
Well, he lost at everything.
He really did, and that never happens.
He's a loser.
Oof. Shots.
Played well in softball last night. He filled in for the softball team last night. Played a hell of a game.
Oh, phenomenal.
But
Rick, we're with you, Rick. We are. We're behind you. I know you're struggling. You're not winning. You're not even winning tonight. You're dealing.
R.I.P.
But you'll get back.
Hopefully, you got some good tips tonight, kid.
Amen.
All right. Anyways, so what we want to do is we want to go over what our podcast is going to be about. The schedule is going to usually be weekly on Wednesdays. We're going to give a rundown of the week in fantasy football, right, how the league's going, who's the biggest winner, who's the losers, who made a terrible trade deal.
The worst trade deal maybe ever signed.
The Donald. Fake news. Anyways, and leading up to the league, we're gonna try to do a show about the draft day analysis. If there is a summer meeting, which we're gonna hopefully talk to the commissioner about today, we want to also do a kind of a roundup of the summer meetings with the owners.
Yeah, so
because there's a lot on the agenda this offseason.
Yeah, throughout the summer we'll have it like special episodes, and then once we get into the season, as Eddie said here, we'll have a typical rundown, stuff that you guys will grow to love, grow to hate. We don't know, it's a tough crowd out there.
Mostly hate,
but I'll get more shots. Listen, we can't alienate our listeners day one.
He is
Sacco. You know what? Fuck him.
Yeah, he's fucking chooch.
I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass. But here we are. So, we'll have, what are some of the things we'll have? We'll have, like we said, talk about the news and notes recaps, Dr. Stroznik's injury update, so, things like that. We'll do our weekly Dodge rankings that we talked about, some locks of the week, some picks.
We also have to have the world's worst Dodge ranking. I think that's important to alienate that one player.
Maybe we don't need to.
Sucks.
Yeah, maybe we don't need to do that.
You worried?
No. As long as Eric's still part of our league, I think
Eric's going to be consistent. But it's good FaceTime for Eric because, like they always say, all publicity is good publicity.
But this show, we want to hear you. We want others to hear you. This is what it's all about. Going to be a fun time. Mudbowl's great. We want to make it greater again.
It's already the best.
Amen. Okay, here we go.
On that anyway.
All right, so
let's go over some of
we're gonna go into a couple of things. So we want to go into the news and notes, right? But what we want to talk. So today we said we're gonna have some special episodes in the off season leading up into the draft and stuff like that. So what we're gonna focus on today is something we like to call league evolution. Ooh,
it's erratic.
Okay, I'm getting a little trigger happy with these.
You're killing the Andes.
Well, I gotta give some love. We gotta get more drops. I'm gonna be pushing that one a lot.
More drops.
Today's league evolution. What are some of the things we want to see happen to make this league? I don't want to say more interesting because we're all interested. We're all engaged. A lot of fancy leagues aren't like ours, but. What are some new things we kind of spice up the league, so to speak?
Well, the biggest thing I think is we have to start. What?
Well, why don't we hit the news and notes today, Ed?
All right.
We'll get there.
So you asked me the question.
I'm looking forward.
Question.
I'm just letting them know what we're doing.
Oh, okay, Joe.
Man.
Okay. I'm excited. Joe.
I can tell.
I'm ready to go.
Your shorts over here are getting tighter. Okay, here we go. Listen, so we're gonna run down the news and notes of the day. So let's take a quick look. Let's start.
Interesting thing I heard today from Cleveland is that the coach of the Browns actually likes Brock Osweiler.
Who's that? Hugh Jackson, right?
Yeah, Hugh Jackson. The
really?
QB whisperer, as he's known. He did a hell of a job with RG3, and then that was it. He had one good year, and then he was done.
There was actually a tweet that was out by I think it was a Browns reporter. He says that Hugh Jackson actually said Brock Osweiler has been a pleasant surprise as of late in OTAs. I don't know how much OTAs can say because it's not like they're really getting into the heavy lifting, but
you know what, Joe, this is what I'm worried because one of the quotes from Hugh Jackson, and I quote, "He works hard at it every day. He's into it. I think he really enjoys being here." What the hell does that mean?
Well, I mean,
he enjoys
how much does
Cleveland?
he get paid? He's getting paid quite a fucking...
First of all, who likes Cleveland? Why would you want to be in Cleveland if you're not LeBron James?
Well, I mean, it's becoming more of a sports city now. More than ever, the Indians.
LeBron James left.
Listen,
he left and they went down $4 billion in the economy.
Bold prediction right now: the Browns will be good before 2020.
8-8.
Oh, I don't know about this year. Before the year 2020, the Browns will be. I don't know if they'll be Super Bowl contenders, but they'll challenge because Roethlisberger's going to leave. He'll be retiring in the next. He thought about this year. You got. The Bengals. They look like they could be good again.
They lost Terrell Pryor though, and he was arguably their best receiver.
But their defense looks good. They picked up a lot of people, man. I don't know. And their offensive line is one of the better, like, as far as on paper, is
Joe
got a lot
Thomas
better.
is a Hall of Famer. First ballot, 100%.
Sucks it was on the Browns.
Just imagine being on the Browns your whole career, being that good.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
It just sucks.
Yeah.
It's like being a great teacher and being at Hill House your whole career.
I know. But, I mean, like, the Brock Osweiler, you know, you can argue with the Browns. I mean, was it
the worst trade deal maybe ever signed anywhere, but certainly ever signed in this country?
Maybe. I don't know. We got to get more of these, man.
More drops. I love the drops.
The drops are fun. We got to get more of them. We will. But, you know, I think it was smart on the Texans' part. I think they were gearing up for Romo, my boy. Tony, fingers up. But, you know, smart of them to get rid of him.
Yeah,
in the way they did.
So,
I mean, they had to get the numbers off the books. But, yeah, I mean, so that was something that we both saw. Brock Osweiler is doing well at OTAs. But so are, like, rookies.
Yeah, rookies
They run. What do? They
did a great job in the wind sprints.
Oh, so
fantastic job in the 100-meter.
Yeah, so speaking of what we brought up, Terrell Pryor, you know,
I think he's going to have a huge year, honestly.
I do like him this year.
He's 6'6". He's a huge target. Kirk Cousins was one of the top downfield passers last year in the entire NFL, not just good. He's one of the best.
Got the franchise tag. I mean, it really.
Well,
how much more does he have to prove? I mean, I get the financial.
He wants to have a huge year. Terrell Pryor is a huge downfield target. The loss of Deshaun Jackson definitely
who's the other one they lost? The other receiver.
Which one?
Oh God.
Name's not ringing a bell.
Yeah, no,
is Crowder still there, right?
Yeah, not Crowder. The other guy, Pierre Garcon, was
Pierre Garcon. Is he
yeah,
still
they
there?
lost two veterans, but I think Terrell Pryor. I mean, his size, like you said, is ridiculous. Well, recently, Kirk Cousins went on record, during OTAs now, and they're getting in some drills together. Said that Terrell Pryor is actually a complete joy to work with. So it seems like they're really building a chemistry there, which is what you want to see.
Again, are we going to start this show off just by giving stupid quotes?
No.
Joy to work with.
He's a joy to work with.
He loves
a pleasure to have in class.
Loves being in Cleveland. I mean, these might be some of the worst quotes in the history of sports.
Listen,
the most meaningless. We're like CNN.
This is episode 1. It's OTAs.
We're turning
Nothing's
to CNN.
happening in NFL. Maybe some would argue we shouldn't have started today, but I couldn't help it anymore. I think we are.
We should have brought Anderson Cooper on.
Oh God, or Kathy Griffin in the news.
Kathy Griffin.
She lost her spot on New Year's Eve with him. She got fired.
Yeah,
right?
she's all done.
Oh man,
that career is dead.
But it's some of the things that they're saying at OTAs in Washington is that Terrell Pryor is very of course, as you said, he's a joy to work with, but that he constantly wants to run more routes, do the same thing over, practice what they just did, going up to Kirk Cousins saying that. So I mean, that's what you want to see, a guy who's not just gonna just use his size to.
Well, I agree.
To do what he can.
He was a quarterback in college. Was number one quarterback coming out of high school where'd he go? He went to high school in Pittsburgh. But number one quarterback, went to Ohio State, did everything he did there. He had a great career at Ohio State. And then, they just wrote him off as a quarterback, and he's only been playing the position for a few years. Yeah. I mean, the kid's got stud potential. He's definitely one of the best athletes in the NFL. He says it himself. And, I think he's going to have a huge year. I think the NFC East is going to have trouble with him. I think Dallas, in particular, is going to have trouble with him.
I'm going to go on record right now.
Oh, boy.
Bold prediction. Cowboys, and it hurts me. Phil, I hope you're listening. I hope you're not listening, actually.
No, Phil's stuck in traffic.
Cowboys will not win the NFC East. I'm not saying they won't make the playoffs. I don't think they win the NFC East this year.
Who do you have coming out of the East?
Giants. Their defense is too good, and their offense just got better. Brandon Marshall, it's one receiver, but he's a...
Well, what about OBJ?
Bold prediction number 2, in one news and notes segment, OBJ, right, will have less touchdowns than Brandon Marshall. Heard it here first. Watch.
I can see
Save
that.
the tape.
I'm not saving it. It's you.
Save the tape.
Tape saved. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Brandon Marshall, he's been working out hard in the offseason. Unlike OBJ, who's getting scrutinized in the fake news media.
next
OTAs.
the next story
Who
out.
cares about OTAs?
Yeah, they who was it? Ben McAdoo, the coach, creepy looking coach for the Giants, came out and didn't completely bash Odell or anything like that because you actually can't. It's part of the CBA contract that you can't like require.
Oh,
or
the
like
Players Association
talk
down his throat.
Oh yeah, he came out and said like, "Oh, you want your great players to be here," which seems like a dig. Odell's working with a Hall of Fame.
You're going to talk to a guy
Chris
who
Carter.
had 2,500 yards receiving in his first 2 years.
He's one of 3 players who have, I forgot what it was.
He has the best numbers of all time.
It's Randy Moss.
At this point in his career, he has the best numbers of all time.
Yeah, but there's 3. I forgot
Randy
the actual
Moss.
stat. Randy Moss, some other random.
Jerry Rice, probably.
No, it wasn't Jerry Rice. Some like random schmo.
Huh.
It wasn't Drew Pearson. It was some random dude. And Odell were the only 3 to have like however many yards and touchdowns or whatever it was. I heard that the other day. Yeah, so it's like, and you got to imagine this too. If it's most other players, you're not hearing a peep.
No, you're not hearing anything.
Okay, Julian Edelman, you're not hearing a peep. What I will say is this. Or even Des Bryant, really. And he's like kind of a lightning rod. But like,
well, actually, news coming out that Des Bryant's admitting to driving 180 miles an hour on the highway, which is never a good move. It's the next thing closest to Sheldon Richardson, who
not good.
Last offseason was driving 140 with a gun and marijuana and a kid in his car, and he's yelling at Brandon Marshall for being immature. Shots fired.
Yeah,
I mean,
jeez.
It's OTAs. Let's be honest. These are professional athletes.
Yeah, you just got to let it ride. He's going to have a great season.
Now, if he comes out and shits the bed, has a terrible year, has tons of offseason problems, then it's something to be concerned about. I mean, I did hear he was catching passes with Johnny Manziel. Always a good character to surround yourself with. I mean, the guy had the world on his shoulders at Texas A&M.
Yep.
Won the Heisman, was the king of Texas. Goes to the NFL, the next Drew Brees, and then he's out of the league in 2 years.
I got to be honest with you, so happy he was not drafted by the Cowboys.
I think he would have flourished.
Maybe if he sat behind... I think if he's sitting behind Romo and he's just throwing a few passes at practice and then doing some scout team work, he's drinking even more, partying even more, whatever the hell else, more that he was doing.
I mean,
if he had less responsibility...
He's got oil money.
I don't know.
He has the oil money. He's got a lot of babes down. Babes Dallas.
Kids living big things.
Oh my God, the blondes.
And you know what? So for our last couple of things, we'll just talk about, we have our resident doctor here, right? Ed Strosnick. Okay. So a couple of things I've been hearing at OTAs. Gronkowski to start. Coming off of back surgery, was it?
Yeah.
Where exactly? You familiar with the...
I didn't see what he had. I mean...
it was...
I would think he might have had a fusion. Or actually, probably just a discectomy, which is just a removal of the disc.
Yeah.
With a young guy like that, I mean, all it is just getting back into the weight room after a few months. Letting the initial healing process happen. And then, it's realistic to play in 6 months.
Earlier this year, I got out of bed and couldn't walk. So... I know what he's
Joe,
feeling.
you're terribly out of shape.
I agree.
I mean, what do you
What-
think?
do I have to
What can you
start
run a
getting-
40 in right now?
Run a 40?
I don't think you could break 6 seconds.
I could run fast for short spurts, big time.
That's 40 yards. That's short. 6 seconds, no chance.
I could not. No, what do the linemen do it at?
5 change.
I could do it in 5.
You can't do it.
I could be the lineman.
You cannot break 6 seconds.
All right, I think we just came up with a new segment for a video segment.
You're gonna next show
right now, or can you give me?
I'll give you a week to train.
Oh, easy.
6 seconds.
I'll do it.
Barefoot.
I'll have Anna record it
Barefoot.
for me. What the fuck, barefoot?
It'll make you lighter. The shoes are too heavy for you.
No, I want the shoes.
I'm timing it. Anna's not doing it. They got those.
I'll videotape it. You can time it on your phone.
Those Fugazi stopwatches down in Brazil.
No. You will see a video. You can time it on your phone.
Brazilians are the biggest cheaters on the planet.
We can do. I'll live broadcast from Crisafi Field.
No, I am doing it. I'm gonna watch you do it. And if
Listen,
here's the thing: if you can't break the 40-yard dash in 6 seconds, you have to donate 3 turkeys to my charity.
I'll donate 4.
6.
8.
How about this? For every 10th of a second over 6 seconds, you have to donate a turkey.
Yeah, we'll figure out the terms.
All right.
I'm going to donate
Fair
the turkey.
enough.
Do I never donate the turkey? Do I not donate?
We'll use it as a multiplier.
This is what we do here at the Mudbowl Podcast. We're about kids. We're about families. We're about the less fortunate having an opportunity to smile, and that's why you listen.
Heavy drinking? What? Heavy drinking?
Oh, come.
You have a problem.
We are drinking. Thanks to Mark with a recommendation here. We picked up a 6-pack of the Dogfish Head Sea Quench Ale Session Sour.
Now, might add, they are not a sponsor.
I think I was in the middle of a commercial. Did you hear that? That was pretty good.
Second-rate brewery.
I thought it was good. Shots on Dom.
Cool place.
Shots on Dom.
Shots on Dom.
I want to go back to Rehoboth.
Oh, my God. If it wasn't
the Charger. Speaking of which, we're running out of battery. And do I wish I had that random woman's charger in the Rehoboth Beach, whatever you call it.
Well, you don't want to be a naughty boy.
I'm a bad boy.
You're bad.
Yeah, you're
very
real bad.
You know, a bad boy like you can't.
We got to have a
40-yard dash in 6 seconds.
We have to have a segment that if someone says something outlandish, they go in the bad boy charger station or something like that.
Bad boy. I like it.
You know what I mean?
I like it.
It's like a penalty box. 2 minutes.
Another thing I don't like is your chance to run the 40 in under 6 seconds.
You're probably right. Give me a little more time. No,
you got a week.
A little more time.
You made it seem.
I gotta start. Listen, I'll get back in shape here. I've been eating a little healthier. I mean, I got this beer and I just ate a burger that you made me, but we'll get it.
80,
we'll
20,
get it.
80-20.
80-20?
Perfect percent. Maybe 50-50. That's juicy.
What, the burger?
Yeah, 50.
Burger was good, man. I don't know what it was, but it was good. That's all I'm saying.
It was 80-20.
I think we might be a little bit behind schedule here. Where are we?
No, we're all right. It's
think
9:23.
Well, let's move on because I feel like we hit the news and notes.
So let's actually talk about the league. That's what we got to get to.
Yeah.
So this fantasy podcast is all about all about the league. In the league, evolution.
Evolution.
Fucking Andy. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Andy. Thanks.
There's a lot of agendas in the offseason this year. A lot of people have been talking, myself included, about several things: Fab Cash, trade commissions. Spicing up the league a little bit. Maybe doing a smoker, like a casino night for a fundraiser to pay for the Super Bowl party and any other league activities. Yeah. Even the wedding that is proposed.
What do you mean? Wedding proposed?
The wedding.
Oh, you're talking about the wedding.
The Sacco wedding. Which we won't talk about much over the air because we might have viewers that aren't in the league.
But we will maybe do a private.
Yeah, we're going to do a private broadcast
of the wedding.
We'll do it nice.
On
country
given
club.
Wedding day to not be disclosed because we don't want anybody to know.
We'll do it at a country club. Nicest one in Connecticut.
Nice.
Greenwich?
Yeah, there's a ton out there.
Don't worry about it. We'll pick up the tab.
Sure. Of course.
Maybe different cash prizes for high score, stuff like that. And also how to pick the draft order. I know last year we did the Kentucky Derby. Right? Is that correct?
No, last year was the double blind. And I think this
year before was the Derby, right?
We'll talk to the commissioner, Steve, tonight about what we're doing this year. But, we did the Derby a couple years ago. My other league did the Derby this year. I got the second pick. It's not the best. But, I think we need to, kind of spice that up potentially or at least take a look at it. And, some other things. Destination drafts, maybe, in the future. I know, we're all growing our families. We're all getting, but I think,
I think renting out a community center like Fox and Rec Center or something like that would be cool. It's $250. I mean, that really all comes down to $20 a person.
Right.
If everybody puts $30, that's a venue and a keg.
Money for a keg, exactly. That's
money for a keg, or with the smoker. Or the casino night, we could raise that money.
So why don't we kind of break this up? We'll talk about some spicing up the league stuff first. We're already on the smoker and draft stuff. Kind of talk about our ideas, and we're gonna potentially. I think we have some callers potentially. That might be.
We'll open up the lines in a little bit for callers. Yeah. But first, let me go over this the idea of a smoker. A few weeks ago, at the grand first birthday of one of our league members, Richard Kiley.
Yeah.
It's a great party, by the way. Tons of donuts. It was unreal. The amount of donuts was unreal.
Just amazing.
Fantastic. Great cake, too.
Oh, the Mascolas. They do it big.
Real moist.
Moist and, yeah, okay.
Moist. It was dark and moist. Anyway.
Hard and wet.
Yeah, so we were talking about the idea of a casino night, possibly arranging some time before the season starts or even during the season, because it doesn't necessarily have to pay for the stuff at the beginning of the year,
right?
Such as the Sacco wedding we were talking about, but we're not going to get into detail about.
Yep.
That's on the wraps. But anyways, the smoker was proposed to be a casino night where we have 3 or 4 tables, poker, blackjack, right. Maybe get our hands on some roulette.
Yeah.
And just have a private event. $20-$30 a person. We'll provide food. But then the league will be the house, and we'll try to make some money off the event. Hopefully be able to fund the Super Bowl party, any other league activities we want to do.
Right.
Just random, just set up an account, which could also contribute to some cash prizes at the end of the year for, maybe somebody that had the most points in the league, anything else like that. I mean, I do think we just need to add a little more component. I think a lot of people, they lean on this league, the Mudbowl League, as their top fantasy league, and I think it needs to be.
It's my league of record.
It is the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the CFL. Who
people don't get
Rocco's league. Listen, CFL.
If you think someone else has a good league, ask yourself, do they have a podcast? No, they don't.
No.
And now officially we all do.
That's
and you're
correct.
welcome. You know what?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Andy.
We need more drops.
We do. We have 1, 2, 3. We have 6. So we're getting there. We have the ability to have many more.
We need about 30.
We have the ability, right?
Bukkake.
Okay, well.
Yeah,
but you're gonna say it in a cool voice for pretending it's a drop.
Bukkake. That's not bad.
You are
facial.
You'll be what ruined this show. I should have listened to.
Hey, it's okay.
Our tone when he.
That's all right.
No, I'm kidding. You know what, guys, and for all you listeners that are concerned about Ed, I gotta put it to bed. The kid is a true professional, in only this way. I can't really say that about many other. I mean, I guess in the doctor game, he's doing all right. I
hold my own.
Yeah, and as a podcast guy, really kind of brings it. Even keeps me in line, keeps me in check. So here we are. We're showing you who we are.
We just want to spice it up.
Oh, it's gonna be great. So speaking of spicing up, let's go. Draft order choosing. If you could do something, what's your idea? What would you do?
Double blind.
You like the double blind?
I like it.
I like it when
I'm
it's
a guy
like an event.
I like science. I like science double blind. It's randomization. There's no bias. There's no way to that anybody's a favorite.
I do like the fact that it's there's no favorites and stuff like that. I definitely
the whole derby I think sucked because
I don't agree with it. I like horse racing.
Horse racing is good to watch. Just go watch it. But when somebody gets the number of the horse who's the favorite, they now have jumped into the draft lottery and they
but that's no different. That's no different than a double blind. If I get the number one,
every number has the same percent to get picked. Every horse doesn't have the same percent to win.
But everyone has the same percent chance of getting any horse. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to get a horse regardless. You just know that you have a better chance of being a higher draft pick if you get the favorite.
Here's the thing, though. If I pick a number 1 through 12, my number 1 through 12 has the same percent chance of getting picked 1 through 12 when you go to do your draft.
Right. I think so.
When I blindly pick a horse, I'm picking something with a higher percentage than another choice. So
you're missing the point.
Oh boy.
Let me explain. Pretend there's no horse race, right?
Then we're not talking.
So let's say let's just say not everyone wants the number 1 pick. Not everyone wants the 5 or 10 or 12 or whatever. But let's say everyone wants the number 1 pick, or in this case, no. So we'll just say anyone wants the number 1 pick.
Or the 12th.
When we pick names out of a hat, or Steve, I think when he did when our commissioner Lanno did it, he kind of did that double random clicking on that website or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did it with the horse names. So forget the horse race. Then you were just assigned. So even if it came out the favorite down to the last horse, then you were already assigned it. But there's still a chance that whoever has the favorite might not win. He might scratch. He might this.
But it's not as random.
It's
not as random.
Well, getting the horse is random.
It's random, but then the horse.
But that's the excitement of it.
You can almost already predict the draft order.
But I could say, well, that's not true. If that was the case, we'd all be millionaires.
Well,
but I will say this:
I know if I have the top horse, let's say Big Brown from a few years ago, I'm likely going to have one of the first picks.
But if you now imagine Big Brown is the number 1 pick, so forget the horse race. Now you know you have the number 1 pick. Like, you know what I mean? It's the same thing. Only now it becomes he might not finish in first. He might finish in third or eighth. Or
I mean, I know what you're saying, but I just like completely blind. I mean, I like where you're bringing the other sport into it. Enough with the A&A.
I get.
I'm gonna delete the drop.
Don't do it.
I'm gonna delete it.
I own this. I'll
It's all right. It's mine now.
Listen, what I just, and it doesn't have to be the Kentucky Derby. I'm just saying that because whatever. But I just like the idea of doing something different. But I do like the double blind for the sake that it's fair and all that.
We'll ask some callers.
Yeah, we'll get some feedback for sure.
On to other news. We talked about potentially having cash prizes for top score. We talked about the casino night. Another thing that has been discussed at length with certain people. Some people haven't really talked much about it, whether it's because they don't want to talk about it or maybe they just don't know a lot about it. It's a fantasy acquisition, free agent acquisition budget.
Yeah. Fab budget.
Fab cash is what it's called for short. FAAB, not FABO, like Fabulous the rapper.
Hey.
Name drop.
See, we need to have a drop of that. If we do Fab.
FABO,
if we do a Fab segment.
But anyways, so what it is you get a certain budget at the beginning of the year, and it's like the double blind. It's a blind auction.
Yeah.
The same goes with the waiver. You can pick up a player at any point after the auction.
Yeah. So everyone becomes a free
Tuesday
agent.
night.
Yeah.
You have to have your bids in by Tuesday night. You find out Wednesday morning if you got the player. What's great about that is that if you really need somebody, your player got hurt, you can go out and spend as much as you feel you might need to spend to pick up that player, and you're not necessarily thrown into the bottom of the draft because you got the 12th pick in the draft, which might have been, just random order.
Right. So, I actually did this 2 years ago when I actually won our league, Mudbowl champion in 2015, and my other league, Sofa King champion. I was also in Friends of the Show, the Fantasy Footballers podcast, right? Friends of the Show. I was in that league. I won my way onto that listener league against the three hosts of that podcast, and they did a free agent acquisition budget. And I listen to their show pretty often, and they talk about the perks of it, that it adds one layer of strategy. And I will say, I think we all started with like 200 fake dollars, right? And what's nice about it, I mean, you could do 2 million. It really doesn't matter. What it becomes is that you have strategies. If I lose my quarterback and the rest of the quarterbacks are shit, everyone's got 2 quarterbacks, you know what I mean? And then Brady breaks his neck, and then God forbid, but then
like Matt Castle a few years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
He would have been.
Garoppolo becomes available.
You would have been the guy to pick him up.
I might want to I'm going to pay a lot of money. Whereas a lot of these, a lot of the other people in the league maybe are set a quarterback, they're not going to do that.
And if it's waiver and you're first, well, I'm picking him because he's the best guy there. And
right.
I'm not losing anything from
Exactly.
it.
Ezekiel Elliott goes down, God forbid, again. Oh, God, I'm really damning him today. But Ezekiel Elliott goes down. One of us is going to want McFadden. If I'm 12th in the waiver order, and this could be from the draft, but, maybe it happens week 1, so it really doesn't even matter. I have the first pick, I'm automatic 12th.
And then you lose the player for the whole year.
Right, whereas I might want...
And if you lost that player first year,
150.
like think about Adrian Peterson. Somebody lost him the third week of the year last year.
Yep.
They had no running back if they were past waiver number 3.
That was it. This gives everyone equal footing, but it's not just like...
It's strategy, too.
Exactly. Do I want to blow most of my cash in week 3? Maybe not. Maybe. But what becomes is that... Now, like if I have $50 left out of the 200 or something in week 7, like it doesn't mean... I can't pick anyone up. If a big name comes out and let's say Steve or Rich or Matt are willing to spend like $51 on him and I only have 50, I'm not going to win that. However, there might be a kicker I need. Whereas,
you can do $1.
Ed's kicker's on by. Yeah, I might throw
$3
if
you don't want to wait to pick him up.
Right.
But let's bring in a caller and let's see what they have to say.
Yeah, definitely. Let's hear what they're saying.
This is actually league champion Mark Albis.
Oh, Mark Albis.
He's on the line. We're going to talk to him. We're going to talk to him about last year, what he thinks about this year, and some of the topics we've been talking about. What's going on, Mark?
Not much. How about you guys?
Loving life, man. And we're glad to have you. League champion. Love it.
I mean, he had an all-around dominant team last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's consistent week in, week out. Gave me some great games against me. I mean, he was tough to beat.
It's weird because I don't remember any of those games, Daley. I'm not sure.
Oh, you know.
Oh, already talking shit. Hey, so anyway, Mark, we're talking about the free agent acquisition budget, a few other things. We're curious on what your thoughts are. You're familiar with the free agent acquisition budget, correct?
I'm familiar with it. I've never used it. I've never been in a league where they had the budget instead of just the rolling waivers.
What are your thoughts? Would you be interested in trying it?
I'd be interested in trying it, but it seems kind of sacrilege to change the established Mudbowl rules, something so fundamental to the entire league.
I mean, so, you know, I think one of the things that I think me and Ed and I was talking to a couple people, I think, I don't know if it was Matt, somebody else was into, you know, something to potentially bring up at our owners meeting, which we're still waiting to see when that's going to be put together, you know, but what are some of the things that, you know, you said.
What are your reservations?
Yeah, there we go.
What are my recommendations?
No, reservations. So what are your what's your
well.
hesitation for adopting changes? We've seen in the NFL they've changed rules. They've changed overtime rules. They used to have no ties pretty much.
Yeah.
I feel like Mudbowl's a little more prestigious than the NFL. So
Bold.
I mean, just because the NFL's changing rules, I don't know if that means we can go and change all the rules.
What is your actually? Here's the real question.
If we put it to a vote, and the majority wanted to do the budget instead of just the rolling waivers, I guess I'd give it a shot.
Here's the real question.
Like that.
Big hitter.
Open-minded.
What do you like about waivers that you like more about waivers than you like about Fab Cash?
I actually don't like the.
Can you say one good thing about waivers?
What I end up doing is waiting for the number one pick, and then I just never use it because I'm too afraid to use it.
Exactly. So what can you say that's good about the waiver wire that we have right now?
Man, he's hard-hitting questions, Mark, right out the gate. Episode 1.
I want to know one pro, outside of being lucky enough to be the first waiver.
Less time in the decision-making process.
So
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I
mean,
feel
because it's just like I want to pick him
going
up.
crazy trying to figure out how much money I want to spend on the one guy, especially in the first few weeks.
Right.
Do you feel
I understand
you don't have to wait too long, so then everybody's gone. But
do
then,
you feel like
also
having
want to use all the money right away?
Do you feel like having strategy will help differentiate the better players from the weaker ones that aren't necessarily paying as much attention to the NFL?
Well, since I won last year, I'd say it's 100% strategy. And there's no luck involved at all.
I agree. I mean, as a champ, you can kind of just say what you want.
Mark, I'm going to throw you a softball, but it's an important question.
Okay.
I gave you the trophy back at the Super Bowl, correct?
Yes.
Go on the record? Okay, I did give it to you. Where is it right now in your new home?
It is in my office.
Okay, it's an office. Wow.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
I look on it fondly while I'm working.
You fondle?
Actually,
What?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you got to fondle the trophy. You don't want it to get too lonely.
Give it a little
Separate
tickle.
question, not for the show.
It needs to be serviced.
Also, Mark, next question. You're a lot similar to a lot of people about the Fab Cash, so we'll move on from that. In terms of trades,
big
we've had a
topic.
lot of issues with trades not going through. You got to make your trade on Thursday or something for it to reflect.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on either setting up a trade commission, which would be a randomly selected, double blind selected three or five individuals that, the second a trade's proposed, it's just a majority from that commission and it gets approved? Or what's your thoughts about a commissioner making the trade, acceptance or denial? Because what does the commissioner exactly do if he's not doing that?
Well, I basically agree with you. I'd be totally fine with just the commissioner veto.
Yeah.
I feel like we can trust our commissioner.
Yeah, no, I think for
Respectable
sure.
guy.
Right.
Because I feel if the commissioner doesn't, you look at Roger Goodell, for example, you don't hear much from him except for when he's ruling out decisions. I feel the same way should apply to our commissioner. I think he should rule out decisions such as, that's definitely collusive, and that should be something that could be.
Ed
thrown
would
up
be
to
the
debate.
expert on that, just so to
You
go
know,
on the
as
record.
somebody that is a collusion, partaker,
A colluder.
a colluder.
Who has dabbled in the collusion
I've
arts.
dabbled in the black market of trades. I think that we don't need to have the 3-day process, to be honest.
Well, you would say that. I don't know about you, Mark, but I know there's certain scenarios in which I made a trade, and because of that, I think it was like a Monday or a Thursday situation where the trade wouldn't go through.
Trade deal maybe ever signed anywhere, but certainly
so
ever
it's
signed in this country.
Yeah, we need to change it to like a 48-hour.
Do you think it has to be that long?
Time.
Or do you think it should be immediate?
I could understand it not being immediate, but Mark, what do you think?
Or at least the trade...
I think you need there needs to be a review
24-hour review period.
Review at least.
24-hour, maybe last 12-hour.
I think
something
12 hours, it gets thrown in the group chat. Everybody gets a chance to see it, but the commissioner either ultimately vetoes it because, unless it's collusion, which hasn't happened in 5 years.
Yeah, I think what it has to do is maybe the trading parties, even if it's Sunday morning at like 9 a.m., if me and Ed are trading per se, we just say, hey, Steve, here's the trade we're going to do. Is this cool? Blah, blah, blah. All right, he says yes or no, or he has a conversation with us individually, then it gets put through and then, if so, discussed. But that's what I'm saying. I think like we trust Steve enough, we trust everybody enough to just... we had trouble in the past with this, but I think if we came to this consensus now, it might be helpful.
I guess I'd be all right with commissioner override if like everyone else was pretty much aware of it at the time.
Yeah.
So that's really what we were trying to get to the base on. Those are probably the big hitting topics if we ever do have an owners meeting, which we are going to get on the commissioner about right after this call. Because let's face it, the commissioner has been asleep at the wheel all off season.
What great guests we have in our first episode.
League
Mark,
champion,
the league champion,
lover.
Yeah, take the words right out of my mouth. That's all I was going to say.
That's right.
Very, very, very.
But anyways, Mark, we're going to let you go. It was a pleasure having you on. We hope that we can have you on as a guest in the future.
Continued success to you, sir.
And anyways, go back to your office, look at your big trophy, and just take it all in because it's probably the last time you'll ever have one.
I'll fondle it for the both of you.
Thanks, Mark. All right, have a good night.
Service that trophy.
Good night.
All right, God bless. Great call with Mark.
Great.
We really need to get the commissioner on because I think a lot of these topics, you really just have to, we got to talk to him because, if he's going to be the commissioner, he's got to actually have some responsibility. He can't just be the figurehead. What's he, the Queen of England? Give me a break. If he's not doing anything, why is he the commissioner? Because
I think he's done well for us.
I'm not saying he hasn't done a good job. I'm just saying I'd like a little more involvement. I'd like him to,
I think Ed's trying to run for commissioner. I don't know.
No, I would.
Well, you have the collusion pass. Steve doesn't have that. Steve's
I
got a clean record.
Nobody wants me commissioner, and that's fine. I'm fine with that.
I'll vote for you. And Steve. 2 votes.
So I got one yes and 11 no's.
Vote for everybody. Everyone shared. Okay. All right. So, we'll try to get Steve on the line right now. We're talking. The producer's telling us that there's a little no service. Steve has bad service. Maybe they'll be able to see if we can get him on the line.
Let's get him on the line.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Andy.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for that. Anyways, with these fucking drops, we got to get more drops.
Sorry.
But anyways, the commissioner, hopefully we can get him on the line. Let's see, is he coming?
Yeah, I think we got him.
Oh, finally we got him. Hey, Steve, this is Eddie and Joe on the Mudbowl Podcast. Pleasure to have you on, the commissioner, as the first ever inaugural show. We got a lot of questions for you today. We're not going to take up too much of your time, but anyways, welcome to the show.
Thanks, boys. Glad to be here.
Oh, yes. First time, long time.
First time, long time. Love the show. I've been listening since you guys were talking about Todd Helton in the 90s. Anyways.
Listen to this show about 30 seconds now.
So
fantastic.
Steve, we want to make this a weekly or maybe bi-weekly or a serial segment, so to speak, where the commissioner comes on, talks about league happenings, kind of where we're headed, where we've been, things of that nature. What are your thoughts on that, just to start us off here?
I think we can make that work. Okay. Pretty much every week someone's got some kind of issue that they want to talk about. So.
Oh, yeah. Steve getting into the hard-hitting issues.
Yeah, right.
All right, Steve. Now, talking about hard-hitting issues, we just had the league champion, Mark Albis, on the line before. We were talking about commissioner involvement. what are your thoughts on, because we've had a lot of issues in the past with trades taking too long to go through, with the commissioner taking sole responsibility as the denial or acceptance person for the trade, where they can make trades happen instantly. If we have a commissioner, we want to be able to trust that his decision making is appropriate, and we feel that if we have a commissioner, that he should be able to make those decisions without our being skeptical.
And we trust you, Steve.
Oh, I'm certain I could do the job, but I think the league has reached a point of integrity enough that I could just set it for leagues to automatically go through. But
I like that.
That's certainly something we would have to all agree upon.
Now, what are your thoughts on there's a few different things I've heard in other fantasy leagues. So that's one of them. Obviously, we just let him go through, which sounds fine with me.
I like
Other one being what I had just mentioned, and the third one is being a 3 or a 5, usually 3-person trade commission that's randomly selected. That those trades, like the same type of thing, they go right through, and it just takes 2 out of 3 of the people on the commission to accept the trade.
Yeah, it's a good idea on paper. I think it adds just unnecessary work. I think most trades should go through. There's really no reason to put a halt to it. I'm up for more trades. I think it makes more fun for the league. I'm for instant trades on that.
Now, in terms of a deadline, do you think there needs to be a deadline, like
on Sunday?
Sunday at X time? That I don't know if we could hardwire it in Yahoo, but I know that we could just set a precedent ourselves.
See, the first game of the week is tough because that's only Thursday. So,
right.
I don't know. That's something we would have to talk about. But at the very latest, I would say probably 1 p.m. Sunday.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
That makes sense.
Now, in terms of talking about it, we did talk during the season that we wanted to have an off-season meeting because there were a lot of like the trade issues, talking about draft order choosing, talking about waiver wire versus free agent acquisition budget. Did you have any plans or any idea of when we should have a off-season meeting of sorts?
No plans currently, but I guess we could set up some kind of poll, figure out when people are available.
Do you think?
But, I'm excited to draw the draft order. At least that's the best part.
Now, me and Joe were talking early on the show about whether we're going to have a double blind again. Joe loves horse racing. I think it's fugazi. What are your thoughts on the double blind versus anything else? I think it's fair.
A good idea, but I don't think we'll ever do it again.
The double blind or the horse?
The horse. A lot of people were not a fan of that. I thought it was interesting, but it's not. You got a clear favorite and everyone's 45-1.
Right. Ultimately,
I think so. Me and Ed were just having this argument. His thing was, it's just a clear favorite, but it's just like, imagine there's no horse race. Imagine that clear favorite's the first pick, but now there's a chance that you might not have the first pick. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it. And I think it's good. I just don't think we'll do it again.
Yeah.
I think there's too much skepticism.
I think we need to, something where we keep our minds open, see if there's anything interesting we can do. I'm a proponent of things like that.
Blind. We all get together. We all pull them out. We all yell when we pull out a number.
It was fun last year. I did have a good time doing that.
Steve, as a backer of science, I'm all for the double blind.
That's right.
Certainly enjoyed your description of the fruit fly
fruit
thing
flies.
Today. Very interesting.
Fruit flies.
We all know all that.
We could all pick fruit flies at random.
Yeah, just have them mate and then have the strongest seed.
We'll have Steve number the fruit flies 1 through 12.
Not a terrible idea.
So that's another one that will be in the off-season.
Yeah, we'll
meeting.
table it for next week.
Another question, Steve. We were talking at the Ariana birthday extravaganza. We were talking about possibly having a fundraising smoker, like a casino night, involving people obviously outside the league. Charging a small entry, having 3 or 4 table games, and taking Mudbowl as the house and taking $30, and we're supplying food and beer, and keeping the profits. What are your thoughts on something like that?
I must say, first impression, I don't like it. I think the Mudbowl is a league of integrity. I'd be happy if we just each put in our own dues and built up to whatever we wanted to buy with that.
I like it.
Now, with the NFL moving to Vegas, do you think this is just something that's natural for football in general?
And Mudbowl even.
Mudbowl, expanding to the gambling network?
Oh, see where you're going with this.
I'll play your game, Steve.
I support the move, but I don't think Mudbowl's heading that way anytime soon.
All right,
Fair enough.
You heard it straight from the commissioner's mouth.
In this
I love it.
last topic we're going to talk about, probably the most widely debated topic. A lot of people are strongly for, strongly against free agent acquisition budget. It's
Fab.
now something that Yahoo is able to do in their program. What are your thoughts about that versus the waiver wire?
I mean, I like it because it has a lot of strategy involved. I'm a fan of just, classic waiver ordering. But, I think it'd be tough to get enough people on board to do the budget.
Could you be swayed, Commissioner? I think people will look to you if you could be.
Could I be swayed?
Yeah.
Honestly, I would say at this point, no. I like our current rules.
Now, what do you like about the waiver wire as it is right now versus the Fab Cash, if you will? What's your saying? I like this. Besides, we already have it.
Yeah. Well, there's a pretty big learning curve to the free agent acquisition budget. I don't know, I think the first year would be kind of a mess. Like some people, who knows, if you spend all of your budget player. I don't know. I think it could be tough. I think it's just more fair to have.
No, I did propose something opening because Rocco's league. Let's all agree it's trash, absolute garbage. It's a Fugazi league. There's,
really
there's
bad.
no structure.
Paisan league?
Yeah, Paisan league's
Awful.
dead. It's in the hole.
Also, great league.
I haven't played in that league.
That
Also,
league,
great league. Don't want to alienate Rocco. Rocco, we love you.
that league's
league.
bankrupt. It's in the red. Anyways, I was thinking about an inaugural test league. So the test league is pretty much anything that we bring up for voting that is voted the opposite rule, or if there's any potential like Fab Cash, let's say it doesn't get voted in because people aren't willing to take that learning curve, that we're gonna have a league and just have all those crazy rules so we can just trial them. What are your thoughts on that? Would you participate in the project league over
Open invitation.
I would say unlikely. I like to focus on the Mudbowl. It's pretty much the only league that I do. I pretty much canceled all my other leagues. It's Mudbowl. It's the 100-yard dash. It's the gold standard.
100-yard dash, the Usain Bolt of leagues.
A man who sticks to his guns, Steve Lanno. There he is. We need that in a commissioner.
Well,
Firm.
yeah, we like a commissioner that doesn't have varying business interests.
No conflicts of interest.
No conflict of interest, which is a great thing. Well, anyway, Steve, your input was widely respected tonight. I hope our
Great
listeners love it today.
Absolutely great guest.
Not often do we get to hear from the commissioner as he's
PhD.
currently deep in his studies at Wesleyan University, a prestigious university, Middletown, Connecticut, getting his PhD.
Oh,
Soon we'll be forced to call him Dr. Lanno.
Doctor.
I'm sure he'll make us.
Doctor's Corner. Doctor Commissioner.
Dr. Commissioner.
Ooh.
Or the Commissioner Doctor.
Oh, yeah.
What would you
boy.
prefer, Steve?
Commissioner MD? No, what
No,
kind
he's
of
not
D?
an MD.
That's pretty good.
Commissioner
But,
PhD?
I mean-
I don't know. I think I'll stick with the plain old commission.
While we can still call you Steve, would you? Could we call you?
Is it okay if we call you Steve?
How about Dr. Commish, Steve?
Yeah, I think that's all right.
Dr. Commish.
How's the missus?
Doing well.
Give her our best from the Mudbowl Podcast.
All right.
Well,
course.
it was a pleasure having you, Steve. We hope that we can make this a routine thing when the league comes. Typically, it's on. We're going to do the recording on Wednesdays for a Thursday release, so we can cover, the last week, any free agent stuff, any trades, even the bad ones. And,
Previews of the Thursday night game, sure.
preview of the Thursday night game in the week ahead.
Recaps on the matchups from the week. A lot of stuff, Steve. A lot of stuff on the docket here.
But we hope we can make this a lasting relationship and partnership.
All right, boys. Well, glad to be a part of the first one.
Oh, of course. Inaugural.
All right.
Love him. Thank you, Steve.
From the Mudbowl Podcast, God bless.
God bless.
God bless, boys.
Great caller.
Great call.
Absolutely great caller. Ed, I got to tell you. Fantastic first show. I felt it. There's a tingle inside of me.
Well, I felt we started a little slow.
But we picked it up.
it's
We were
realistic.
fumbling around.
Because there's nothing going on in the NFL right
I feel
now.
like this is our OTAs. We're just trying to build chemistry.
I
We
didn't
got-
show up for the first 15 minutes.
Exactly. I was weak at points. You carried me on your back. I took over when you were fumbling.
And I'll tell you what, when I hopped on your back, you still couldn't run a 40 in 6 seconds. It's pathetic. You somehow got slower. I had no clue it could be possible, but it happened. Anyways,
love it.
I mean, I think this is a good time to wrap it up. 55-minute show. It's
just under an hour.
Which
is what we were looking for.
I think we did fantastic. But on that note,
Ed, this is a handshake. I don't know if you heard that on the air.
From the Mudbowl Podcast, we would like to wish you a nice evening and God bless.
Listen to us
weekly on Wednesdays.
Here we are.
Well, our callers will be on Wednesdays, but we will be actually submitting the show on Thursdays.
Man, Ed, you're jumping the gun. You're playing the outro. You're still talking. Oh,
I'll play the intro.
You want to play the intro now?
Oh, we're rounding it right back. You know what? Everybody to the Mudbowl Podcast.
All hell has broken loose here.
Oh my God.
No. Oh man.
Yeah, so great first show, Joe. I'll tell you what. The show is broken in half right now. Oh my God.
It's going off the rails.
As there's more going on in the NFL, the show's going to spice up, league action. We're going to have a lot of, weekly reports. Hopefully we can pick our matchup of the week and interview the two owners of those two organizations and see if they have any trash talk, their thoughts, and if they think, if they're the favorite that week.
Yeah, and as we said earlier, we're going to do kind of special shows going into the, through the offseason, preseason. So if you have any ideas, reach out. You can find us on social media at The Mudbowl Podcast or Mudbowl Podcast?
The Mudbowl Podcast
on Instagram.
It's the_Mudbowl_podcast on Instagram. Also, you can, if you have any private inquiries for shows, you can find us at mudbowlpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
Soon to be Joe and Ed at mudbowl.com.
And these shows will be airing on YouTube, but you already know because if you're listening to this, you're on YouTube currently, so I don't know why I just said that, and there we are.
You're in.
I'm really good.
What's our YouTube channel?
I don't know. I'm going to use the Gmail account. I'm
Okay.
going to do it tonight and tomorrow.
Fantastic.
And you guys will know. The Mudbowl Podcast. Let's just assume that'll be it. But again, if you're listening to this, you already know that. And yeah, it's been a good show.
Fantastic.
Excellent job, Ed. Phenomenal stuff. Send them out, Ed.
Send them out. All right.
With the beat.
With the beat.
We love you.
God bless.
God bless.